Okay, let us begin with the metta meditation. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have
a happy mind, whatever living beings there they be, without exception, weak or strong, long or large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible,
living near or far,
born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision. Removing desire for sensual pleasures, one comes never again to birth in the womb. With this metta thought, let us practice our mindfulness. Let us pay total, undivided, mindful attention to our breathing. Mindful attention is the attention without greed, hatred, or delusion. Although we use the word greed, hatred, and delusion, there are many nuances, many shades of each of them. Even if they arise in our mind in the weakest or slightest way, that would block our metta practice, and mindfulness should be able to catch any shades of any of these three fires, poisons, and weapons, so called greed, hatred, and delusion. And noticing them arising and letting them go very quickly is the function of mindfulness. With that mindfulness, we pay attention to our breathing, and we notice the breath touching our nostrils and expanding the lower abdomen, expanding our chest area as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, our lower abdomen contract, chest area contract, breath leaves the nostrils. And when you breathe out and in like this, we notice breath flowing in and out. Our attention, total attention, should be on this movement of the breath, rising and passing away. No word, no concept, no theories, ideas, or manipulation of the breath. And then we feel the breath, we perceive the breath, we have intentional attention to the breath, we are conscious of the breath. These are in the subtlest, finest analysis, the 5 aggregates, and they also change as we breathe in and out. What we experience when we breathe in is no longer there when we breathe out. And this also is very clear, and we can notice. For instance, when we breathe in, we feel the inhaling breath. When we exhale, we feel the breath leaving our nostrils, exhaling breath. So this is happening all the time. And then since there is nothing to hold on to, as I mentioned, no greed, no hatred, no delusion, the mind let go of whatever shades of desire we have. And then also we know that when the body is relaxed, mind is relaxed, breath is relaxed, in that relaxed state of mind, rigidity, uptightness, resentment, anger, and so forth also fade away. When that fades away, metta feeling arises in our mind. We don't have to force ourselves to arouse metta feeling. That naturally arises when the conditions are ready, as we mentioned. And then also we notice when resentment fades away, metta feeling is there, compassion arises, because our beginning of this practice from March is for one purpose. The purpose is to share our friendliness, our compassion with suffering beings. I took the initiative of this meditation practice because of compassion, and my friends supported me to make it work, make it happen. And so we are doing this out of compassion for the world. Then our restlessness and worry fades away. And then we become more mentally active. Then our sleepiness and drowsiness fade away. When all this happens, we see that our practice bears fruit. We can see the progress that we make, and progress takes place by itself without extra effort and without any force and without any intention. It naturally happens. Then confidence arises, doubt fades away. Then we gain joy, and joy leads to happiness. Happiness leads to concentration. All these are dependently arising, and therefore we can see them happening in us when we gain concentration. Concentrated mind can see this exactly as they are. Seeing with the concentrated mind also is not something forceful, deliberate work. It is the natural development. Seeing body, feeling, perception, thoughts and consciousness constantly changing is noticed in our concentrated mind or by our concentrated mind. And we don't do any other thing to see this happening. It is just the development of our practice, dependently arising and passing away. With this, let us continue our practice. Dukkha Sacha nidukha bhayapattacha nibhaya sokapattacha nisoka hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this very noble thought in mind, let us continue our morning section answering questions. My friend Brian will read the questions and I try to answer them.
Yes, Bhante. Hello, Bhante from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. Is there a difference between sense pleasure and desire for sense pleasure?
Sense pleasure and desire for sense pleasure. uh, Desire for sense pleasure is the desire you have before you have sense pleasure. Before you have sense pleasure, you have a desire to have sense pleasure. And and sense pleasure is while you are experiencing sense pleasure, you have sense pleasure. This is the difference. One is before, other is while experiencing it. So that is the difference. It is just like you have a desire to meet your friend. When you meet the friend, you first had the desire to meet the friend. Then when you meet the friend, you have the pleasure of seeing, meeting, talk to him. That is why you say, I'm very pleased to see you. It's a pleasure to have you. And so forth you say. So that is the difference.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, question.
Next question. Dear Bhante, I like to know how to deal with getting attached to views and opinions of myself and others. When this happens, I can see the negative feelings developing, and it takes a while to develop the wholesome way. Could you please comment?
Yes, when you have view, naturally you begin to criticize because your view is you are right, so and so is wrong, or so and so is having such and such an opinion. I don't have such and such an opinion. The more you have views far away from attaining liberation, arate asavakkhaya. Buddha said, paravajjanupasissa nityang ujjhana sanjino asava tasa vaddanti arate asavakkaya. When you have a view, normally view have, you think you are pure, clean, superior, you know better, and so forth and so on. You put in a higher pedestal and put down the other person. So you increase your conceit, pride, and all these will be compounded when you have view. You know that how hard it is to get rid of it. And therefore, your practice of mindfulness, especially the practice of impermanence, is extremely important. Practice of impermanence is extremely important. And I advise you to see impermanence in you. Impermanence in you. And also, I like you to think that we all own our own karma. If you have an opinion and view of somebody, then you have to think, well, this is my karma, that is his karma. I am owner of my karma, he is owner of his karma. I am inheritance my karma, he inherited his karma. And so forth, you think of the karma, the nature. Third way, we have to think the world is made up of all kind of things. The world is made not for our own liking or disliking. You may like in certain things. There are billions of other people who may like different other things. So seeing the differences in the world, you have to think, well, this is the opinion which may not have anything to substantiate. You have a view. If you investigate, there is nothing out over there to support your view. It is only private, personal, inner opinion of view. And therefore, try to have a right view. Right view is the view that we all are subject to suffering. We all are subject to suffering. We all have suffering. And we all have greed as the cause of suffering. And if we think of you, if I get rid of my suffering, my view will end there. And the way to get rid of my suffering is the Noble Eightfold Path, starting with right view. Right view. Right view leads to right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So start with the right view. Right view is the view of seeing impermanence, seeing the Four Noble Truth, seeing the ownership of karma, seeing that the world is made up of all kind of things, nanata kaya, nanata sanya, different beings, different have different bodies and different views, different ideas. Who am I to to have a view about so and so? I think this uh, advice is a very meaningful, powerful advice, not mine. The Buddha gave us this advice for people like us who hold views to get rid of our views. So we must respect the Buddha for giving us this wonderful advice for us to live in peace and harmony.
Excellent, Bhante. Dear Bhante, on July 5th, if I remember correctly, you mentioned that compassion leads to metta or samadhi. Can you please clarify and elaborate if it adds to our understanding?
Yes, well, I mentioned we gain concentration
She said,
that leads to understanding. The samadhi is concentration.
Yeah.
Yes. What happened when when we have metta? All the four Brahma Viharas, metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, when we have them, actually one of them is enough to gain, especially metta. One of the benefits of metta is gaining concentration. Tuvatan chittang samadhyati. We gain concentration very quickly. How can that happen? Because in the metta mind, there is no greed, hatred, and delusion, because one sees impermanence, therefore no delusion. One does not hold on to any particular thing, and one does not have hatred in the mind. When the mind is thus clean, temporarily cleansed, that moment we gain concentration. Naturally, because the body is relaxed, mind is relaxed, every thought that arises in our mind is relaxed, peaceful, and gain concentration. Um, so, the metta makes us calm, relaxed, and peaceful, definitely. That is the precursor or stepping stone to gaining concentration, samadhi. Samadhi means balanced state of quiet, one-pointed state of mind. And that you can gain by practicing metta. You will see this. One thing I sometimes people might uh, get sometimes get me wrong when I say this very bluntly. You simply recite the word metta. By reciting alone, you will not have metta. It is just like repeating a prescription in front of a patient, or reading the menu in a restaurant, or reading the recipe of vegetable cooking. If you simply verbalize like a mantra, it's not going to work. Metta doesn't work like that. No. While reciting the words metta, you don't need too many words. Although we recite the whole discourse or most of the discourse today, every day, to what you call jumpstart our metta, jumpstart. But you need only one or two words, just like may all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Well, happy, and peaceful. Uh, may all beings be well. Itself is enough if you do it sincerely, honestly, without a scruple of hatred in your mind, without an iota of hatred. At least at that moment, you feel great relief. The mind becomes so relaxed and loosen up at that very moment. And therefore, gaining concentration becomes very easy when you have that kind of metta in your mind. You have metta, but it is just like a spark under ashes. You need the right moment, right opportunity, right conditions, because the metta is conditional. It is called abhisankatang sanchetayitam, and we create in our mind. So the conditions are removing our rigidity, uptightness, removing our hatred, and relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, relaxing your feeling. All this happen very gradually, naturally. If you very honestly want to bring your hidden root of metta to forefront, to the surface, then when it arises, then it becomes the very powerful factor of gaining concentration. So depending on, as I mentioned, all depending on your own practice. It doesn't otherwise happen automatically like a magic. Metta doesn't have magic. So I like you to remember that.
Bhante, the questioner was also wondering uh, the causal relationship between compassion, uh, whether compassion leads to metta and samadhi, if they have a causal relationship.
Yes, that's what I said. All the four Brahmaviharas make your body and mind calm, relaxed, and peaceful to gain concentration. Concentration arises only when everything is calm, relaxed. Passaddhi in Pali, passaddhi. Tranquil, peaceful. Not the artificial tranquility like taking, giving tranquilizer and so forth. It must arise from within, and then concentration arises. Relationship is when we practice metta, compassion, our mind and body loosen up and then become relaxed. The body becomes calm, peaceful, concentration arises.
Excellent. Thank you, Bhante.
Mhm.
Bhante, how to distinguish the difference between path and fruition of stream entry?
It's a good question. In fact, I say it is a very good question because this has not been clearly defined and explained anywhere in sutras. In analytical system called Abhidhamma, they explain it one short moment is the path, one moment, next moment is fruition. That is not happening in practical attainment. For instance, in the sutta there is a discourse called Dakkhina Vibhanga Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, which explain the or which classify or grade uh, according to the recipient's state of mind. For instance, first one I take Sotapanna. When you offer dana or give a gift, robe or medicine or food or shelter or whatever, a gift you give to one who is in a stream entry path, you get certain amount of credit. We call merits. In modern term, I think you are familiar with the credit. When you go to university, you get a credit. For such and such a course, you get 4 credits. We don't know where they are. But in their mind, in their system, they say that you get 4 credit. If you take half course, you get half credit, like that. Similarly, when you offer dana to a one who is stream entry path, you get certain amount of merits. If one attains stream entry path this thought moment, and next thought moment if he attains the fruition stage, nobody on earth has any time to give even a pencil, even to reach hand
to give even a little flower, because mind changes so quickly. Buddha said he even could not give an example to compare the speed, to show the speed of the change of mind. So quickly it changes. In such a quickly changing state of mind, if you attain stream entry path now and next moment attain stream entry fruition, nobody has time to do anything. So the statement in the Dakshinabhagi Sutta becomes null and void, meaningless. And therefore, I searched in discourses more for many, many years, because this question comes up again and again and again. And I never found one place where this one thought moment, you are in the full path, next moment. But there are statements says, Maggang sotam maggam bhaveti bahuli karoti. Once attain the path, and then he multiply, cultivate it, develop it, practice it again and again and again, and then you attain the fruition stage. In order for you to practice, you need time. So that is one aspect. Other aspect is, I want to show the difference. Other aspect is that when you attain the stream entry, three fetters you destroy. When you attain the stream entry fruition, three fetters. What are they? Belief in permanent self. This is called Sakkaya Ditti. Sat Kaya Ditti. Sat means is. The word Sat comes from the truth. Pali Satya comes from the word Sat. Sat means is, now, is. Kaya is body. Is in the body. What is in the body? A self. That is one view. Then Vichikicha, doubt of all sort of doubts. Especially Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and the dependent origination, and so forth, doubt. And then the last is Silabbata Paramasa, believing in the attainment of liberation by following rules and rituals. These are the three fetters. You have to, when all the three fetters are destroyed completely, then you are in the stream entry fruition stage, phala stage. Now, how I understand it is, you keep practicing meditation. You develop your mind. Listen to Dhamma. Read the Dhamma book. Discuss Dhamma and so forth and so on. You always make you make your job working with the Dhamma. Always. Not outside, inside. When you see Dhamma very clearly, especially depending on the personality. Some people like to see impermanence, some people like to see suffering. Like to see means some people work on impermanence, some people work on suffering, some people work on self. Suppose you work on impermanence, anicca. You practice anicca, as I mentioned earlier. Everything is impermanent, nothing is permanent. From the beginning of the universe, when it ends, it is also impermanent. Everything impermanent. You see impermanent, day and night in everything. Even these words that I talk are impermanent. Then one day you will see impermanence is very, very clearly, deeply rooted in your mind, and you have no doubt whatsoever. That moment, your permanent notion of self will vanish from your mind. And it never comes back. Anything permanent doesn't come back to you. That moment you attain the stream entry path, and you continue. There are two more to overcome. And again you keep practicing. Then you see the Dhamma so clearly. So clearly that you will see in almost like Buddha, like standing right in front of you, that as if you can touch him, hold him. That kind of image appears in your mind. Not actually it is a living being with flesh and blood and breathing and so on. But the Buddha who appears in your mind so clearly, and you see, this must be a Buddha. This must be an enlightened being. No one on earth can teach this type of Dhamma except the fully enlightened one. You come to that kind of conviction from your own personal experience. You investigate everything in the world. If you can live long, you investigate all the philosophies, all the psychologies, all the sciences, everything you experiment, investigate, and never find one like this who taught this kind of Dhamma, this kind of truth. You go to any religion, any tradition, and you never find one who teaches Dhamma like this. That moment, friend, you see the Buddha in your mind. Then your doubt fades away. Still you are in the stream empty path. So one day you see all these years in my life, I practiced this, I practiced that, I recited this mantra, I did this. I don't want to mention them because people get offended when I mention the items that people practice in the name of Buddhism. If I mention any item, they may get all will be up in arms to attack me. So I don't want to mention. You yourself think the amount of rituals you practice, all will vanish you from mind. You will think these rituals has nothing to do with attainment or liberation, nothing to reduce my suffering, nothing to reduce my ignorance, nothing to attain liberation. When you come to that understanding, you are in the stream entry fruition stage, phala. That is the stage you complete stream entry. All that time you practice, keep practicing. If you destroy one or two of the three fetters, you are still in the stream entry path. Only when you destroy all the three, you are in the stream entry fruition. Friends, during that time, people can give you all amount of dana, any amount of dana, any time, because you are in the stream entry path. And then when you attain the stream entry fruition, people also can offer dana to that person. And therefore, until you attain the stream entry fruition, you practice stream entry path and destroy two fetters. And during that time, people have time to offer you dana, and then they gain merits, credits. You are supposed to get three credits. You get 2 credits. If you complete one, they get 1 credit. Credit I use in a modern term for punya, ping, merits. Uh, if you destroy two fetters, when they give dana, they get 2 credits. When you destroy all the 3 and they give dana to you, they get 3 credits. Now, I use this sort of a loose, common, day-to-day language to make it very clear in your mind what this attainment is, how this attainment is possible. Buddha has never told us anything that we cannot do. Never. He was so compassionate. This is gradual training, gradual practice, gradual attainment. Gradual training, gradual practice, gradual attainment. This is how we attain the stream fruition stage in reality, in practical life. And therefore, I'm glad you asked me this question, and for me to make my understanding clear known to people, and then they can keep talking about it and investigate and discuss and ask all the specialists who are specialized in analytical system. Analytical system is good just to keep analyzing, just like atomists. They keep splitting atoms, splitting, and still have not reduced suffering. So they can do that. But in order to attain liberation, we have to do something that we can do. That brings us to attaining liberation. With this, I hope I answered your question. Thank you for asking this question. And now we have practiced metta, mindfulness, and listen to Dhamma. We did all these things keeping in mind one thing, that is to wish all suffering beings. This is a compassionate wishing, metta wish. We want to wish all those who are suffering to be free from suffering and return to normal and live long in good health, doing very meritorious deeds. And there are some who are in hospitals, and they are the ones who are suffering mostly. And there are some who are suffering from losing their loved ones. I hope our Dhamma practice, meditation practice, our Dhamma talks, their knowledge of Dhamma help them to understand the nature of our life and reduce their grief, knowing that this is inevitable, that when we are born, we pass away. Sooner or later, that happened to us, all of us. And thinking that they may relieve themselves from their own grief. Others who are in hospitals are taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs, and trying their best to console them and reduce their suffering and make them recover from their suffering, sickness, and return to normal life. May they live long in good health. And those doctors and nurses and so forth are very compassionate people. They sacrifice their lives and risk their own lives to help these people. I have seen it with my own eyes. Last couple of times I visited doctors, I see how compassionate they are, how friendly they are, how kindly they give us very friendly, compassionate advices and so on. And there are some others who are supporting financially, and they also are very wonderful people, generous people, trying to reduce their own desire, greed, which is the cause of suffering, by donating various things, items and finances and so forth. And we want them to continue their wonderful work and live long in good health. There are leaders who have taken very good decisions to help their people and made wise decisions. Some are so successful that they have minimized the spread of this COVID virus. And other leaders are maybe trying in their own way to help people, and we want them to be very wise and make wise decision with compassion and understanding to relieve these people suffering, relieve their uh, pain, and may all of them be peaceful and happy, finally attain liberation from suffering. With this metta wish, let me conclude this morning's talk. Thank you for participating and joining us.
Thank you so much, Bhante.